First City Focus is supported in part by Duke Energy, powering the lives of its customers and communities. Online at duke-energy.com. Good Samaritan, a regional healthcare center offering a variety of services from primary care to same-day joint replacement surgery and more. Good Samaritan online at gshvin.org. Colonial Assisted Living. Colonial is an assisted living residence promoting independence and dignity for each resident while providing the necessary assistance for daily living. Colonial Assisted Living, 1622 South Hart Street Road in Vincennes, 812-895-1504. And by donations contributed by Vincennes PBS viewers like you. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to First City Focus. I'm your host, Allyson Bowers. On this episode, we'll learn about an organization aiming to help support and nurture mothers in Gibson County. The Good Samaritan Gala is back, and this year's theme was Denim and Diamonds. We'll show you an inside look. And you'll get to see a sneak peek of the new Beyond the Headlines, discussing food scarcity within our community. We have these stories and more right now on First City Focus. Parenting is hard. That's the understatement of the century. But I can speak from experience that when you become a mother, no one hands you a manual. And if they do, it's already too late. There's absolutely no time to read it. It can be especially difficult, though, for mothers who might have less support. That's where today's guest steps in. I'm here today with Emilie Brown from the Well, She Is Strong. Welcome, Emilie.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about your program.
So yeah, we are going into our fourth year with our fourth cohort. Our mission for the program is to nurture, support, and break the cycles inhibiting necessary life skills for the mothers in the Gibson County community. The way we go about that is we provide them with resources, goal setting, education. We meet with our moms for a whole school year. So the first semester from August to December, we are in the classroom with them. So that's when they're learning, they're getting the education. We meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 11. And we have the Evansville Christian Life Center. That's our Tuesday partnership. And the Evansville Christian Life Center is with us every Tuesday, so for the whole semester. And that's basically teaching them on the cycles of poverty. It's called the GAIN Initiative program that Evansville Christian Life Center has. And we meet with Stephen Ralph. He comes out and shares with our ladies every Tuesday on understanding the cycles of poverty, how to get out of it, how to prevent it happening with their kids. And it's so much more than that. It's really just about financial security, stability, all those things. And then Thursday is our partnership day. Just like today, we had the Princeton Police Department out sharing with our moms about domestic violence, protective orders, things like that. But we also have partnerships with anywhere from Work One. We do resumes in the class, employment. We have Purdue Extension come out. We learn about nutrition, healthy eating. We also have the Gibson County Health Department. That's another partnership that comes out and meets with us. We have Tulip Tree. We learn about mental health, everything from depression, anxiety, stress, how to deal with it, all those things, and so much more. I mean, I can keep going on, but yeah, most of our partnerships can be anywhere from another range from like Albion Fellow Bacon Center. We've had them out before, the YWCA. So a lot of mental health, a lot of just education. A new one that we have this semester is the Parenting Time Center. We discuss things on parenting, discipline, those things. That was a really pleasurable one for this cohort and this semester. So when we have these partnerships come out and these, each group is different. So we're on our fourth cohort. When I say cohort, it's our fourth group of women that come through for the school year. And we base our partnerships and everything on each cohort's needs. So we have all these different partnerships and we pull from those partnerships based on what the moms need. So yeah, that's what we do. And then from, like I said, August to December, they're in class. Then from like January to April is when we're out in the community. We basically are doing the application process of the program. So we're applying what we've learned. We also have partnerships with like Ivy Tech, so those that are wanting to get GEDs, go back to school, those kind of things. We work with them in partnerships, so that's kind of part of our application process too, if they're wanting to get full-time employment, or if they're wanting to get a GED or get enrolled to go back to school. Those are the things that we do on that application time. So we sit in the class and then we apply it. So that's kind of how we work. So.
Right. And you said you're based in Gibson County. Is this just available for women that live in Gibson County?
Yes. Currently, right now, it is. Our hope is actually this fall that we will be serving Warwick County. So our vision and mission for this program was to serve our three counties, which will be Gibson, Warwick, and Vanderburgh. So we are hoping to plan on venturing out to Warwick County for the fall and offering a cohort out there, and still serving Gibson County also. But we are going to hopefully add on a new county to our program this coming fall, so the following fall. So
right. So how many women are in each class?
So we have moms. So our first cohort we had 4. Our second one, it can range from 7 to 8. It's like I said, it ranges each year, so each cohort is different. But I think the most that we've had was 7 or 8, I think. In one of our cohorts. So yeah, and doesn't matter the numbers, it doesn't matter how many we have. Gibson County is not a huge county, but it's large enough to where we are very impactful on what we're doing, and the women are definitely reaching their goals. They're getting out there, they're building their confidence. That's a big thing that we focus on in our program,
right.
Is building these moms up to where they feel confident enough to go out there and tackle what they need to do. So.
Right, so your program is open to, is it just any mother? Any
mother that is 18 years of age and older. I know we've kind of been categorized as like a single parent program. That's not what, it's for anyone. It's for any mother that's 18 years and older. You can be married, in a relationship, divorced, it doesn't matter. We accept any mom, so. Yeah,
and so what are some of the organizations that you do partner with? You mentioned the police, you mentioned Albion Felon Bacon. What all are those programs that you partner with?
So basically, that's the education piece for our moms. So when we do the intake and application with our moms, we go through a series of questions with them, what they're wanting to work on, what they're wanting to learn on, what they need information on. So we go out in the community and we search for those partnerships and we bring them in. And when we bring those partnerships in, we usually try to sit down and do some type of curriculum to figure out what we're going to teach, what we're going to educate our moms on, what their needs are, and implement that on our Thursday classes. So yeah.
Yeah, and then this sounds like it, you said this is your 4th class?
It's our 4th class, and we're going into our 4th year.
Yeah, so, 4 years.
Yeah.
What drove you to want to start this?
Well, I mean, I've got a story just like everybody else. Grew up in a single parent home, grew up in poverty myself, and had to really struggle and work hard to get where I was at. Didn't have support. We didn't have family encompassing us and rallying around us to help us. My mom was a working woman and a Christian woman, and we just kind of went through life struggling. So I knew God was preparing my heart to do this type of work. I went to Liberty University and got a bachelor's degree in human services and counseling. I was able to play tennis out there for 2 years on a scholarship and was able to get my degree. And I've always wanted to help and serve in the community, and I was given some opportunity in Vanderburgh County with the Lampion Center as a caseworker out there working with the Even Start program and some of the preschool families out there, and it was just amazing. I knew that was my niche because I was working with moms and women, and God just put it in my heart, and didn't know what I was doing. I'm gonna be honest, I had no clue what I was doing, but I had some really incredible people come behind me and surround me, and yeah, here we are. So
yeah, and I know especially in 2025, it's hard to get people to come out and attend things, right? So you're getting these women and they're coming to class twice a week for an entire school year.
Yeah.
I mean, they must really enjoy it.
Like I said, they're with us for a semester. So when I get them in August and I've got them in December, like they're with me twice a week. When we switch over to the application, we usually meet like once every 2 weeks after that. So we're not in class anymore, but still, yeah, these ladies are dedicated. These women are dedicated. They are just awesome, awesome women. Shout out to all of them, all the moms, period, but the women that are in my program, it's incredible to watch their strength, their stories, their dedication to the program, and not just the program, their dedication to want to do better and to break the cycles and achieve things. So, because they know that if they can reach their goal and they can be an example to their kids, that's breaking that cycle. Right. So, so yeah, shout out to my ladies. They're rock stars. They're the ones that are just knocking it out, grinding every day, and yeah, we need it. We need programming for our families. We do not have enough programming for our families in these communities out here. And when you ask people that too, you know, I can't think of one program out there for parents that is specific just for parents, and we need it. So, and you know, I always tell everybody, when we take care of the mothers in our community, we take care of the children in our community, because when they're doing good, our kids are doing good. Right. So, so yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that every class that goes forward, are you taking away layers of the stigma of asking for help? I mean,
Absolutely.
The more people that do it, you know, they hear more about it and they want to sign up.
Absolutely. And I don't think any of my moms are looking for help. I don't think that they're looking for a handout or they're destitute or any of that. My moms are strong, independent women, and they are smart women that are just looking for a hand up.
Guidance.
They're looking for guidance. They're looking for support. They're looking to see, to make, and I think the stigma with women, especially moms, is, you know, am I good enough? Is anybody else going through this? You know, they don't have a support system. I don't feel like there's a true place where we can really let our hair down and be ourselves and be connected and not be judged. I think there's so much pressure on us moms to perform. And my ladies, they're, like I said, they're the strength, they're the backbone of this program, and they just need a hand up. They're not looking for a handout. They're not destitute. They're not, none of that. Right. They are just looking to find that support and that sense of community and connection with each other. So, and to know that they're not walking alone in this so-called life of motherhood. Right. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, yeah. Well, this sounds like a truly unique program.
It is.
I just feel like, yeah, there's really nothing else like it around.
Nope,
so
there's not.
I mean,
and there's some, you know, I think there's people out there that would like to probably try to duplicate, but we are specific in one thing, and we serve our mothers. We're not looking to serve. I mean, I've been pulled in many different directions to try to broaden this program, and I'm not budging. I'm staying with what God called me to do, and that's working with our moms. And you do one thing and you do one thing and you do it well, you know. It's hard to do multiple things and try to hear from outside, you know, do this, do that. No, I stay on the trail with God and walking with Him, and we're sticking with serving our moms.
Yeah,
so.
Well, from one mom to another, I appreciate it, and
yeah.
I think you're doing amazing work.
Well, my girls are doing amazing work. My moms are doing amazing work, and God is the captain of this program, and He leads it, and He just chose me to steer the wheel. So
yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Emilie.
Yeah. Thank you, Allyson. I appreciate it.
Anyone wanting more information about the well or know someone who might want to sign up for the next class, check out their Facebook page. The Good Samaritan Gala returned this year after a long hiatus. It's the hospital's largest fundraiser of the year, and they presented the inaugural Good Samaritan Leadership Awards.
Everybody's dressed up, it's fun, we'll have an auction, great food from Coco's. It's just going to be a great evening.
We are excited to bring back the gala this year. It's the Denim and Diamonds Gala, and it happens once a year for the Hospital Foundation. It is our largest fundraiser for the year, and we love it because it does community support. It tells people about what we do.
3 1/4, yep, now 3 1/2. 3 1/2 forward. 3 1/2, you're able to buy it, $350. Sold it with you back here in the back, $400.
Tonight we're focused on scholarships, and we offer many different ones, but the ones I like to talk about are the Beacons of Excellence, where we give one scholarship to a high school student from the graduating class of surrounding schools. And then we also have student nursing internships who receive $10,000, and this year we've had 2 students receive that scholarship.
Tonight, I have the distinct honor to share a very special announcement on behalf of the Good Samaritan Foundation Board. In recognition of extraordinary leadership, a lifetime of service to this organization and to our community as a whole, the Foundation Board has unanimously decided to establish the Rob and Angie McLin Endowed Scholarship.
We are unbelievably humbled by this. We didn't know anything about it until within the last few days, and I tried to put some stuff down to just kind of make note of how special this is, and then to find out we've got friends like the Burkharts. And so, one, I just want to tell you how humbled we are by this scholarship and how special it is.
So I'm really excited to introduce the Good Samaritan Leadership Awards. This is an inaugural award for the foundation, but we set out and the board wanted to recognize one person in the community area who's made an impact in the foundation, and then also one person in the healthcare space who has had an extraordinary career. I couldn't think of two better individuals to honor tonight, and that would be Helen Seirp, our board president. Helen has served on the foundation board for decades, done an incredible job, worked for Old National Bank, but just really helped advance our movement. And the other lady is Pat Summers, and Pat is a healthcare expert. She served at Deaconess Hospital, but she also served with Good Samaritan Hospital as Vice President of Nursing. What a wonderful lady, both of these ladies, wonderful people, wonderful examples of leaders for Good Samaritan.
What an exciting evening, let me tell you, to see everybody that is here and all of the fun and the dedication that you all have is just tremendous. This hospital doesn't realize probably how fortunate they are when we take care of so many people and try to make their lives so much better. That's our goal.
What a great event. All the money raised goes to scholarships for future healthcare workers. The holiday season is here, bringing family gatherings and shared meals. But for some Knox County families, putting food on the table isn't guaranteed. In the latest episode of Beyond the Headlines, News Director Dave Foster takes a closer look at food insecurity in our community.
I'm Dave Foster, and this is Beyond the Headlines. In this episode, we're talking about food insecurity. When we hear the words food insecurity or homelessness, many imagine big cities or distant communities. But right here in Knox County, these challenges quietly affect hundreds of families. And we want to better understand what that really looks like beyond the headlines. Today, our guests include Scott Charleston, the Executive Director of the United Way of Knox County. Also Tyson Sims, who's an associate professor involved in numerous community issues. We should say an associate professor here at Vincennes University. And also Troy Pickle, who is with First City Sunrise, a homeless outreach organization in Vincennes that addresses emergency needs for local people. We thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. And I'm just going to open it up to anyone and everyone. So from your perspective, what does food insecurity really look like here in Knox County and the surrounding community?
You know, I think when we hear the word food insecurity, we often picture something that's far away, right? Something that's not happening here in Knox County. But honestly, it's our neighbors. It's the people we work with. It's the person checking us out at the store. You know, it does happen here. And again, that's why we're here today and try to educate everyone about, what food security is and know that it is happening here in Knox.
Tyson or Troy, you have anything to say?
Yes, it has a normal face. In fact, it's invisible. It is here. It's somewhat pervasive across the country, but we feel the impact. We may not readily see it, so it's invisible, but it's here. It's here.
Troy, what do you see?
Well, just like Tyson said, it's an invisible thing. It's all over. Just the obtaining and being able to obtain food can be a challenge sometimes.
When people hear the term, they think about hunger alone, but how would you define food insecurity beyond that?
I think it goes way farther than that. So, it's the access to food, but that's really not what it is. It's the access to transportation to get to food sometimes. Or it's making that hard decision on, do I buy groceries for my family or do I buy the medication I need to survive? Food insecurity has a large, a real like it has a lot, the correct word to say there, but it affects a lot of people a lot of different ways that we really don't see. And it's not just about not having food, more than that.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I think you can go with, the qualities of food. Some of the, whether you go to McDonald's or you go to the grocery store, those are, a big topic when it comes to insecurities. I only have such and such amount of money. Can we get the whole family something from McDonald's at a lower quality instead of going to the grocery store and getting Whole Foods?
Yeah, it's just the not knowing. For many, they may not really know where their next meal is coming from, or how they're going to get that. And that is the heart of that insecurity. Not knowing where you're going to get the next meal, or maybe towards the end of the week, if this food is going to last these next few days, is one thing. But if you have children involved, then that's sort of that's heartbreaking. So it's just the not knowing, not being secure about your sustenance.
That's one of the things. When I started looking into it further, it's still, I can't fathom, well, in America, in Knox County alone, that somebody's hungry, in our community. Or doesn't have access to good food. But, and a lot of the misconceptions is that, it all comes from bad choices or lack of motivation, not trying, but that's not the reality, is it?
No, it's definitely not the reality. I know sometimes we take a step back and think that way, but in reality is, we know prices continue to rise, and we're making the same amount. Like we've helped, I just had a conversation with an individual here recently, and they're single parent, they have a full-time job, they're working during the day, but they're paying for healthcare, of course, they're paying for an automobile, they're paying for their house and rent and food on the table. And that dollar's just not going as far as it used to. And that's kind of what we're seeing as a struggle. So, and the crazy thing is she's above the poverty line. So they don't qualify for extra subsidies and whatever that they're supposed to get. Because they're above that line, but yet that dollar, by the end of the week, like Tyson said a minute ago, like they're good on Tuesday, but on Friday, sometimes that's a struggle. Like, where's that food coming from? Or do I pay my electric bill so I can be warm this winter? Right?
Yeah. So what do they call that? It's the debt cliff,
or the cliff. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of explain what that is.
Well, I mean, you are you don't qualify for certain like SNAP program, but then you're right above the cutoff, and so you still struggle with that. And there are many who are in that position, and they feel alone. They feel abandoned, really, and that sort of speaks to the structural issues that are at play. We like to think a lot about personal responsibility, personal choices, but oftentimes our choices are structured, if you will. So it's important to take personal accountability, but it's also important to recognize the structural elements, the pay, the opportunities for employment, the access to certain types of food that's available. So it's important to balance the personal responsibility with the structural situation that people are in, because oftentimes they're in those situations, even though they are fighters, even though they are doing the very best they can with what they have. Yeah.
There's a term out there called ALICE.
Yes.
So tell us what that is.
So ALICE, and I'm, so it's kind of a United Way thing. They do a lot of research on the ALICE population, is what it's called. So let's not confuse that with the Lincoln ALICEs, right? Because we do live here, and that's not what this is about. This is a United Way worldwide thing, and it's asset limited, income constrained, employed. So ultimately, exactly what I said a minute ago. So you are above that poverty line, and ALICE population is poverty and below also, but it's above that poverty line, and you are employed, but you are struggling to make ends meet. Again, I said it earlier, like do you put groceries on the table, or do you pay for the medicine you need to survive? Or do you pay the rent so you have a roof over your head or put food on the table? And a lot of parents out there are missing meals in order to feed their children. And we just don't see that on the daily, but it's happening. And, you know, just for some of the numbers, it's hard to believe, but people under 25 are actually the ones that are having the hardest time because they're just breaking into what life looks like, or anybody who's in senior age, like 65 and older, are the two populations that really Alice falls under, where people are struggling to not only live, but to eat and survive.
Yeah. That coincides. I talked to a few food pantries, and the Vincennes food pantry here in town, been around since 1971, and they told us that their goal is to provide enough food for a family for an entire week. Last year they served 981 families. They target about 25 families a week. And that's here in Knox County. And as of the end of October of 2025, their numbers were up 10% from what's been happening. So, and they say that demand has increased for previous years, and they said, like you did, most families now include young adults and also grandparents caring for young children.
And students as well.
Yes, that's right.
And I've come into contact with that. In fact, at the beginning of the semester, our Dean of Humanities, Joan Puckett, sent out an announcement about Sandy's pantry. You know, there are students on campus for whatever reason, are in this precarious sort of situation. And those who commute, or those who live off campus. I remember a few years ago, I had a student in my class, and I could tell that they were sort of disengaged. I could tell that there was something wrong. And after class, I just approached and we started talking. And I realized that they didn't have a meal plan, that they were hungry, that they were, in fact, not eating. And that has an impact on their academic performance. Sure. That's is very, you know, I'm sure that happens at VU, that happens at Lincoln, that happens at work for some individuals. So it has it's an impact, but the students are struggling with this as well. And the pantry sort of, Sandy's pantry, sort of helps address that issue. In fact, there are, according to the Government Accountability Office, 23% of college students are dealing with food insecurity. Yeah, that's like 3.8 million people. And this was in 2020. And, you know, things are, you know, a little tighter even now. So that's a part of that invisibility. You think students are really just having a great time, when in fact they are a significant population of this who are suffering from food insecurity.
A lot of them are working 2 jobs to pay for books and their schooling, and then not eating, missing meals because they've spent, you know, they've exhausted all their options, you know, moving forward. So yeah, that's a great point.
And I'm sure some of them work in fast food restaurants, and they may have access to that food through their job, but it's still not quite healthy.
Well, you know, that was a strategy when I was in undergrad. Me and another friend of mine got a job at the cafeteria. And so we had access to food in that way. But these are some of the creative ways that people are sort of addressing these problems. But again, there are larger structural issues that need to be addressed to provide an environment where students can thrive. And an environment, not just at college, but in high school.
You can watch the full episode of Beyond the Headlines discussing food insecurity on our YouTube channel. And that's all for this edition of First City Focus. For everyone here at Vincennes PBS, I'm Allyson Bowers. Join us again next week.
First City Focus is supported in part by Duke Energy, powering the lives of its customers and communities. Online at duke-energy.com. Good Samaritan, a regional healthcare center offering a variety of services from primary care to same-day joint replacement surgery and more. Good Samaritan online at gshvin.org. Colonial Assisted Living, Colonial is an assisted living residence, promoting independence and dignity for each resident while providing the necessary assistance for daily living. Colonial Assisted Living, 1622 South Hart Street Road in Vincennes, 812-895-1504. And by donations contributed by Vincennes PBS viewers like you. Thank you.